Let's do this. Let's do this. Let's get in here. Welcome to the live chat. Good morning, YouTube. Good morning. Good morning. I don't have all my devices. And so, listen, we just gonna rock with YouTube this morning and see who hops in. This is a quick just parent check-in. Let me know, parents, how you feeling? What's going on? Where do you find yourself struggling in your parenting journey right now? There is so much happening in the world. Our kids are exposed to so much. We are exposed to so much. And so this is just a space for us at the Parent Network on Saturdays, the Parent Corner, where we just kind of talk and we connect. If you have any questions, I can answer your question to the best of my ability. But yeah, this past week has been a week. This past week has been a week just in parenting and co-parenting. And I use that term co-parenting very loosely because there are moments where I feel like with my youngest son's dad that it is just like sometimes talking to a a kid a kid. And so in that I'm like, yikes, am I even really dealing with an adult? I recognize, I know, and what's crazy is, y'all, my son knows like the difference in how he's parented with me versus just when he's with his father. There is a huge difference there. And so, ooh child, as they say, ooh child. I was like, what's that? I never really used live from the oh, look at that. I can do that. Now that's interesting. Okay, how do you take it off though? Oh, right there. That's dope. Okay. Good morning, y'all. I'm over here fooling around with stuff. Do not mind me. Good morning. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you all are watching, tuning in from. Listen, this morning we're just here for a parent check-in. If you are a parent, say hey in the comments. Let me know. This is just a quick parent check-in, just to see, anything that you guys are struggling with right now in your parenting journey. Hey, Sarah. It's okay. It's okay. The comments are always laggy on YouTube for me, like especially, and I've never gone live on my phone, and so it's always laggy for me. But this is, hey y'all. Hey Juan. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you guys are watching from. This is just a quick parent check-in just to see how you guys are doing, how y'all are faring. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you so much. This week, when I say this week, y'all, was a week. Like, it was a whole week. It was a week. It was a whole week. And yeah, there was a lot going on this week. I think when you are parenting, and if you're a parent, like I said, say hey in the comments. When you're parenting with intention, I hope so. I hope it hits the right people. I hope it hits the right people. When you're parenting with intention, and this is what I like to say, because there's been like this whole debate. There's a lot of conversations around, gentle parenting, conscious parenting, all of these things, and how it's not working for our children. But I truly believe that parenting and the style of parenting that you used is tailored to your family dynamic. It should be tailored to your family dynamic. I say this all the time. As we like to do vision boards for our lives and where we want to go in the future and all of these different things, we should absolutely have a vision for our parenting. It is essential to have a vision for your parenting. Why? Because you're not just raising a child, but you are raising an individual that is going to go out into the world and become, who they're going to become. And a lot of times people mix up, just because I'm a mother or a father, that makes me automatically a parent. And I've said this before, like, parenting is in the trenches, y'all. Parenting makes you reflect on your own childhood. It makes you look at yourself and the values that you even hold dear. Why? Because when we are responsible for another individual, when we're responsible for yes, we're talking about parents one, and parenting, just parenting. But if you have something that you want to share about, feel free. Like I said, this is a safe space for us to just kind of chit chat, not too long, nothing too deep. Let me not promise that. Every time I talk, it could get deep, but nothing too deep. I just wanted to create this space for parents to check in and say, like, how they're feeling, whether you're feeling overwhelmed, frustrated, glad, excited, whatever that is. But as I was saying, it's so important that in our parenting journey, that we reevaluate. I said this before also, and I'm going to say this again. There is nothing wrong with pivoting in parenting. I have pivoted in my parenting many of times because when I started off my parenting journey, y'all, I was 19, okay? I didn't know what I was doing. I had no clue what I was doing. I was thankful that my oldest son's father was like, okay, this is what we're going to do. And so basically it was figuring it out. And even when you are 25, 35, 45, you're still, if it's your first child, you're still doing it for the first time. And so while you may have a little more wisdom in your older years for life, that doesn't really always translate into, oh, this is what I want to do as a parent all the time. Because this beautiful life that God has given us, they're going to come with their own sets of ideas. They're going to come with their own sets of thought processes. Hey, Rach character, they're going to come with so much. And so it is important for us, I truly believe this, as parents, that we are shaping our children in a productive way, because we can't look at children and be like, oh, they're the problem. Not necessarily. It is the stock from which they come from. So that branch, that tree that they come from is what's feeding a lot into their life. Now we know that there's environmental things that happen, societal things, relationships that they find themselves in that are going to influence and impact their development. But I love to be under this umbrella that we as parents should be shaping their identity. Okay, we should be shaping their identity, character, values should start in the home. I truly believe this. Character and value should start in the home, because that is what is going to shape their identity. Now we know, us as adults, we've experienced so many different things in our own life where we've questioned our identity because there may have been some fragments that we did not receive in the home. I know for myself that was the case for me, where there was no affirmation. So it was like, oh, and not even like the whole, oh, you're so beautiful or any of that. That's necessary too, because we don't want them seeking that validation per se from other spaces. But just like, you are a thinker, you know what I'm saying? You are whatever it is, just building our children up in that, so that they don't wonder, well, am I able? Can I? Like, you are capable of doing hard things. That's one thing that I always would tell my sons, and I still tell them. And I probably need to get back doing that, because y'all, listen, the way the world is happening right now, but really affirming our children is so important. Like, you are capable of hard things. You don't have to shy away from the hard things. Like, if you need help, ask. The only question, you know what I'm saying, that is a dumb question is the one that is not asked. And so all of these things that happen along our parenting journey sometimes it can be overwhelming for us because they don't really teach this. We have classes, courses, you got to get degrees to become a doctor, a dentist, all of these different things. But then when it comes to parenting, it's just like, oh, because you procreated, now you are a mother and a father. Good luck. Like, legit, y'all, like, good luck. Here you go. And thankfully, if you had proactive parents, intentional parents, some of what you received in your own childhood can then translate to your parenting. But you also want to be careful with that aspect of it because maybe you want to tweak something, because we're not trying to replicate our childhood with our children. We want to make sure that we are tailoring our experiences with our children to their needs, but also to like the needs of the family. And that can be overwhelming as well. Like, I promise y'all, when I sat down to really think about my own journey in parenting, I'm glad I survived the first 18 years. I'm glad I decided to do the work. That was the biggest transformation in my parenting journey, was me, Ashley, doing the inner work, healing the inner child, reparenting myself, because there were so many fragments in my parenting journey, excuse me, and in my childhood that were parallel. So many. And it wasn't until I think he was about 7 years old, my oldest son was 7 years old, where it was like, girl, no, we've gotta stop this. We can't continue this way. And even at that time, the Lord was like, you can't talk to him this way. And you cannot, because so here was my thought process. Let me back up a little bit. This was my thought process, y'all. He was a boy at the time. His father was not present. He was incarcerated. And so in my mind, I'm like, I've got to make sure that he's tough. I got to make sure that he does all of these things. Now, mind you, there was a lack of affection in my childhood. Like, I don't remember how many times my mom may have told me she loved me. And so that was something that was ingrained in me. So it was like, okay, well, after a certain point, you don't really give affection. You know what I'm saying? This is what I thought. Like, you don't really give affection because, especially him being a boy, you want him to be this, and this. All of that, y'all, is a lie. It is a lie. It is a total lie. But I had to learn this again, because what happens? You have a baby and they say, here, good luck, go out into the world. And your environment starts to shape you. Childhood shapes you. People have influence and impact you. And then you have just all of these thoughts swirling around. And then you're trying to parent. And so that was me. And when I realized, like, you know what? This is not effective. Like, what you're doing is not effective. How you're showing up in this way is not effective for your son. And I had to get to the root. Why are you doing this? Why are you showing up this way? What's going on with you? Come to find out, I had to get language for it. I was dealing with my own mother wound. And so there were things that my son would do at 7, wanted to still, be close to me and physical touch. I was not accustomed to that type of affection with physical touch. So it was like, nah, like, you're a boy. You need to do this. You need to do that. Needless to say, y'all, once I got through my own junk, worked through my soul issues, healing the little girl within me, I have apologized to him. We've had conversations just about, like, how do you think your first 10 years of life was? Aside from, like, okay, let's say, like, really 5 to 10. How would you explain that? How would you explain, 10 to 15, as you're coming into that teenage years? What do you think I could have done better? I truly believe that as parents, we should be apologizing to our kids, especially when we don't get it right. And when I say get it right, it's not about perfection, but it's about when you recognize, yo, that was harsh, or that was wrong, or I shouldn't have spoke to them that way because I was frustrated, or I was dealing with my own crap and all of these different things. Apologize. Again, we're not raising babies, we're raising humans. And so what we're giving them in the home, again, the values, how we're showing up for them in their values, how we're showing up and instilling character traits within them that's going to shape their identity, that should be one. I do believe that should be one. So if there was to be a parenting manual, this should be in the parenting manual. And maybe I'm going to create a parenting manual, y'all. Like, apologize to your kids when you get it wrong. Apologize. Because what that does is that shows them that no matter what type of adult figure or what type of person it is, no one is too powerful, mighty, authoritative, whatever it is, to not give an apology for when they got it wrong. And don't be passive with the apology. Don't be like, oh, I seen some shorts and some reels where they'll be like, black parents or black moms, when they're apologizing, they be like, oh, do you want to get something to eat? Oh, do you want some new shoes? Or I seen this. Instead of just blatantly saying, I apologize, I was wrong for, and then naming that. Because that sticks with our children. Just like the lack of affection stuck with me, and then I started to kind of perpetuate that until I had to break it. Not apologizing sticks with them. Them feeling like, well, what did I do to deserve X, Y, and Z? That sticks with them as well. That sticks with them as well. So it is super important that as parents, we check in with ourselves and we figure out, okay, am I showing up? Am I parenting in this moment from my own frustrations? Because if I'm parenting in this moment from my own frustrations, then I need to pause whatever it is that I'm telling them or saying to them, because it's not even about the kid. It's really about me and what I got going on. Parenting is a whole relationship. It is one of the most important relationships that you will have, but it's a whole relationship. And because it is a whole relationship, we have to treat it as such. We cannot treat it as they are subordinate to us. Yes, there are boundaries and guidelines that we should have for our children. Yes, we should be holding them responsible, having consequences, but children are not subordinate to us. I don't believe it. Yes, we are essentially the authority over them, but there's a way in which you can exert that authority without making them feel as though they need to be fearful of you, because fear and respect are two different things. Fear and respect are two different things. And we don't want to create children that are fearful of us, and then they go out into the world and they don't know how to handle certain situations. I also believe that in the home, like, we should be trying to create as many scenarios as possible that we know can happen in the world. Because why? We're adults. We have more experience than they do. We have more experience than they do. But the experiences that they begin to encounter as they're growing and developing and all of the things, we should not be discounting that. Get curious. Get curious about your children and about what they're experiencing and how they see things in the world. Their lens is different from ours, and then come together and help shape it in a way. Don't try to always dictate. Nope, you should be looking at it like this. Nope, you should see it like this. Yes, we have more experience, but we also want to leave room for their experience as well and how they see it. Asking questions, open-ended questions are the best ways to really kind of Get to know your kid and how they're thinking and how they're feeling. Open-ended questions. They're beautiful. Now, do we always want to talk? And no. Do they always want to talk? No. And sometimes we can't force them to share how they're feeling. But as long as they are comfortable, they know that as mom, as dad, you are that safe space for them, that when they're ready to share whatever it is they're experiencing or feeling and they can come to you, that's a win in parenting, in my book. That's a win. I know sometimes we want to be like, no, you need to tell me right now. Like, you need to let me know right now. But just like we may need time to process certain things, so do they. They are experiencing a lot for the first time, as are we. As are we. And so this is why I say parenting is a relationship. Because if I'm experiencing something for the first time and you're experiencing something for the first time, no one is really in a position to be like, this is what you should do. No one. No one is in that position to be like, this is what you should do. More so, let's figure it out. Let's figure out an approach for whatever it is, for X, Y, or Z. Taking away the whole because I said so mentality, or you should do it because I did it like this. My hope is that more parents would move out of that, but not move away from actually guiding. There's a difference between because I said so and this is what you need to do versus, okay, I'm guiding you in this direction. Hey, listen, these are some pathways that you can go. These are some things that can happen if you go down this way. So wisdom says, boom, boom, boom. Wisdom should be leading us in parenting. The Proverbs talks about wisdom. It is the book of wisdom in the Old Testament, and then even in James, it is wisdom for us in the New Testament on how to live a godly life. But the scriptures, in Proverbs talk a lot about wisdom guiding us, wisdom being the principal thing, and wisdom being a fortress, and wisdom anchoring, and how parents show up in wisdom, and how children should adhere the wisdom of the parents. And so this is exactly where our experience comes in to help our children see that, okay, listen, mom, dad, grandma, whomever it is that is raising them, they have wisdom in this area. They have understanding in this area. And so they can help me in this area. Now, we know kids are stubborn. We know children may like to test the waters like we did as kids. We tested the waters, but give them that space to do that. I remember y'all, and I was like 24 at this time. I was 24, and my mom, she was very judgmental. And in her judgment of the things that I did, it was like, you should do it like this. You need to do this. You need to do that. And this particular person is going to take advantage of you and X, Y, and Z. And it was just like, when you hear that type of stuff, it literally makes you want to go the opposite way. I'm making my chicory roux, y'all. This is really good. But it makes you want to go the opposite way. It doesn't really make you want to listen to the wisdom because of the delivery. And this is why I say delivery is everything. Now, do we as parents always get it right? No. Is our delivery always on point? No. But we need to be more regulated within ourselves so that way we are able to deliver the message that we want our children to have properly. If the only thing that we know how to do is yell and scream and cuss at our kids to convey a message, then when they give that back to you, can you truly be upset? When they're doing these things to other adults, again, it's not their fault. It's the stock that they come from. And so this is why it's important for us as parents to regulate ourselves. Shameless, not so shameless plug. Tuesday, this coming Tuesday, the 24th, I am hosting the Regulated Parent class. It is completely free. The only thing you need to do is register for the class. It will be on Zoom, and I am going to really give parents strategy. What is regulation? How do you regulate? How do you really set boundaries and keep those boundaries? Attach the consequences to it and not feel guilty for doing it, because you know that you're disciplining your child in the right way. And so that is what the class is going to entail, and parents are going to walk away with tangible resources to use it immediately, and not just in parenting but in their lives as well. So yeah, this was the check-in, y'all, for today. Just some tips, and I think the biggest thing is, like, we have to check us before we can really check our kids. We got to check us and make sure, okay, if I know that I've instructed them in this way, if I know that I've done this, if I know this, and then their behavior is against what it is that I've already taught them, yeah, it's up. Yes, I'm giving you consequences. Yes, this. But if I have not been teaching, developing you, talking to you, any of these things, and I'm just barking orders, you're creating a wedge within the relationship, and it won't be successful unless you repair it. And repair is necessary to build trust again. And so assess, parents, where you are in your parenting journey. Where do you want to be? It's okay to pivot. It's okay to pivot. Pivot as many times as you need to, because as you're evolving and growing, it's going to help impact your family dynamic. So I hope this is helpful to y'all. I'm gonna see y'all on the next Parents Corner.